U.S. President Donald Trump caused a stir this morning when he posted a scathing critique of Israel's legal system, calling the ongoing trial of Prime Minister Netanyahu a witch hunt and a travesty of justice. Now, it is important to clarify that it is not right for the U.S. President to interfere in our internal political affairs. However, his words struck a chord with many Israelis, not just because they defend Netanyahu against this witch hunt, but because they point to something much deeper and more dangerous happening in our country that I've spoken about quite a lot. Let's be honest. Whether or not someone supports Netanyahu, the fact that our wartime prime minister is still being dragged through a years-long legal battle over alleged gifts like cigars and champagne, and media articles that were allegedly arranged by the prime minister, that this trial is taking place during a war, an existential war, is absurd. But this is not just about one man. The deeper issue is the judicial system itself, and the way it has come to dominate our national life, often at the expense of security, democracy, and yes, even human life. We need to talk about this role that the legal system is playing in this war, because while most of the country is focused on defeating our Islamo-Nazi enemies, the unelected legal bureaucracy has been imposing restrictions that make that mission much harder and deadlier. Just yesterday, we lost another 7 brave, holy IDF soldiers in Gaza. And while battlefield losses are tragic and sometimes unavoidable, these deaths and many others have been happening in part because of decisions made not by the IDF, but by the Attorney General and the IDF's Judge Advocate General. These officials continuously have forbidden the military from, for instance, relocating Gazan civilians away from terrorist strongholds, forcing our troops to operate inside dense civilian areas where Hamas embeds itself behind women and children. That is not how you win a war. We need to get the non-combatants away from the Hamas terrorists. That's how you prolong a war. That is one of the main reasons this war is taking so long with our losses, in addition to the caution our battle plans take into consideration of trying to save the remaining hostages still inside. Now, even before October 7th, the judicial system had already limited our ability to defend ourselves. IDF soldiers were ordered not to shoot at violent Hamas terrorist rioters at the fence of Gaza, even when those rioters were scouting, sabotaging, preparing the ground for the massacres that followed, and yes, committing terror attacks. Commanders were afraid to act, not because they lacked the will or intelligence, but because they feared legal consequences. The rules of engagement were horrendous. The clearest example of this warped mindset came during the 12-day war with Iran just now. At a time when the Supreme Court was supposed to be limiting itself to emergency matters only, it planned to deliberate on a series of petitions defending the rights of October 7th Hamas terrorists, including their prison conditions. This is not satire. This is real. And these court cases in the Supreme Court were only stopped due to intense public backlash hearing about it. But it revealed something terrifying, that even in the middle of a war for Israel's very survival, our top legal authorities in the Supreme Court saw defending the comfort of barbaric terrorists as a higher priority than ensuring the security of Israeli citizens. On top of that, more than a year has passed since the circulation and promotion of a doctored video that sparked what has to be known as the State Taiman blood libel, and I've spoken about this before, a false and damaging accusatory video against IDF soldiers alleging torture and abuse of jailed October 7th Hamas terrorists. The video has been proven to be manipulated and doctored, but it was reportedly produced and leaked with the alleged involvement of senior officials within Israel's legal establishment who had access to the jail facility video cameras, raising serious concerns about internal sabotage and the politicization of our legal institutions. Despite the gravity of the accusations and their potential to damage the reputation of Israel and the IDF, which it did, no formal investigation has yet to be launched into the origins of the video or the motives behind the dissemination or who leaked it, even though only a small amount of legal officials could have been involved. Listen to this media report discussing the situation.
איפה מסגרת החוק פה נשמרת? האם פצ"רית שמהאנשים שלה מדליפה חומר חקירה מסווג בשלב הערכת מעצר, החומר הזה היה רק אצלה? מה?
אתה יודע שזאת היא הדליפה?
תקשיבי, נורא פשוט. בשלב הערכת מעצר, וזה תשאלי משפטנים יותר גדולים ממני, החומר לא ניתן עדיין לסנגוריה. הוא נמצא עדיין בידי התביעה. החומר הזה הוא חומר תביעה, ולכן ההדלפה הייתה יכולה להיות רק מהתביעה. עכשיו, את יודעת כמה אנשים טיפלו בתיק הזה? מקסימום 10. אם רוצים לחקור את זה, אפשר ביום להכניס את 10 אנשים לחדר אחד אחרי השני, ואת יודעת בדיוק מי הדליף ולמה. לא עשו את זה עד היום, חלוף למעלה משנה. למה? אילו הפצ"רית ידיה לא היו במעל הזה, היא הייתה דואגת לחקור ולמצוא את מי שאשם. מכיוון שהיא לא עשתה את זה עד עכשיו, ההדלפה הזו נעשתה בידיעתה ואולי גם בהנחייתה. אין המסקנה אחרת שאפשר להסיק מהעובדה שהגברת הזו לא חקרה את האירוע הזה עד היום, והיועצת המשפטית לממשלה שאמורה להיות סמכות עליונה בקביעת החוק, מגבה אותה בכך שהיא לא חקרה את זה עד היום. הדלפה לתקשורת של חומר חקירה נגד חיילי צה"ל, שבדיעבד גם מתברר שהוא חומר חקירה מכפיש.
Understandably, the continued silence from the IDF legal authorities, the Attorney General and the Supreme Court has fueled speculation of a deliberate cover-up to this issue, eroding public confidence in the integrity of both the military justice system and the national justice system. How can we defeat our enemies when our own legal system is more committed to the rights of barbaric terrorists than to the right of Israelis to live and the right of our IDF soldiers to protect us? And preferring to prosecute our own holy IDF soldiers on fake charges that they allegedly assisted in creating, rather than punishing the actual barbaric terrorists who murdered our people on October 7th, who still haven't been brought to trial. This is not a healthy democracy. This is not moral, and this is not sustainable. And the biggest victim is the Israeli population. This isn't about Netanyahu and his court case. Judicial reform is not about canceling a trial or helping Netanyahu. Judicial reform is about restoring a balance of power in Israel so that elected leaders, not unelected judges or unelected legal advisors or attorney generals, can make the crucial decisions about war, security, and strategy. Judicial reform is necessary not to protect politicians, but to protect soldiers, to protect civilians, to win our wars. President Trump may have said it bluntly, but he's not wrong. The system is broken. And if we want to win this war in Gaza as quickly as possible, because we're already over a year and a half in, and save our hostages as quickly as possible, as well as prevent future terror attacks against our civilians, we need to fix this moral inversion in our justice system ASAP. The war against our Islamo-Nazi enemies is not just being fought in the tunnels of Gaza. It's also being fought in the courts, in the corridors of legal power, and in the minds of those who still believe that it's just about Sagar and Netanyahu. It's not. This is about whether Israel can truly defend itself and govern itself, not by the unelected. And right now, the answer is not. It's still a broken, immoral justice system. And it's so sad to have to deal with this right after we as a people have won this battle against the biggest terror-supporting nation in the world, the Islamic Republic of Iran. But again, Netanyahu is being dragged to the court for a witch hunt, for an abuse and a moral inversion of our justice system, to go after a leader who the unelected elites of the justice system, media, whoever else, do not like, and do not like the way he's leading the country and the direction he's leading the country, or the people he's leading as he's leading the country. So they abuse the power, the institutions of power that they hold as a political weapon to get their political goals, even though they're supposed to be about law and justice, which they're not. That's why, hopefully, as soon as possible after this war is over, we will see the changes necessary for the whole Israeli population to be defended and have true advocacy for the defense of our lives and the protection of our lives, also from the justice system. and all those legal figures were supposed to be looking out and protecting our lives via the use of law, and not using the use of law to protect our enemies instead. We will overcome. I've been talking about this issue for over 20 years. And before this war, few Israelis understood it, how important this issue was and how damaging it was to our daily lives. They just didn't understand it because the mainstream media wasn't reporting it, it was covering up for it. It was talking about how Netanyahu is horrible, Netanyahu is corrupt, and always backing up all the witch hunt cases by the legal establishment. But October 7th and all these different cases of the legal establishment not standing up for our soldiers and instead standing up for our terrorists, little by little, more and more Israelis have woken up to this insane and immoral reality. So please God, as soon as this war is over, we will see true and just judicial reform so that a true democratic process and system can be in place, and no more of this immoral judicial inversion run by a deep state. We have to neuter the power of the unelected elites and return the power to the will of the people, and where the justice system is a just system based on law, based on an ideology. Am Yisrael Chai. Just like we're overcoming our external enemies, we will be overcoming these internal challenges as well. And again, most of the Jewish people are united, even though we're being divided on certain issues, even in this wartime. Even in this wartime. We're going to come out of this bigger, stronger, more united than ever. Am Yisrael Chai. If you are not yet a subscriber to our daily, belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect, truthful videos about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe today. And yes, we are a donor-based operation. We need your donations for support in order to make these videos and get our videos seen and do all the work we do. So every once in a while, whether a large donation or a small donation, just go to pulseofisrael.com and click on the donate button. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.